Welcome to HomeFront Sitrep. I hope you're in for a great show today because I'm just a veteran talking about what's on my mind and maybe yours.
You can find HomeFront Sitrep on Apple, Amazon, Spotify, or wherever you find your favorite podcasts. You can also check out HomeFront Sitrep's YouTube channel.
Buckle up, the show is starting.
Out on the edge of the battle and back, we've carried the weight and we've walked every track. From desert dust to the fire at home, we've learned how to fight, how to stand alone. But no one tells you what comes after the war, when silence is louder than the guns we bore. That's where we speak, that's where we heal, with stories too real for Hollywood reels. Welcome to the front lines you don't always see, when warriors to battle just differently. This is our check-in, our voice, our step. This is the HomeFront Sitrep podcast. For the fallen, the fighting, and those who came home. For the brothers and sisters who still feel alone. We're holding the line with truth and respect. This is the HomeFront Sitrep podcast. For the fallen, the fighting, and those who came home. For the brothers and sisters who still feel alone. We're holding the line with truth and respect. This is the HomeFront Sitrep podcast. It ain't all medals and waving flags. There's pain in the silence and weight in the bags. But we've got a mic and a mission to share, to tell the damn truth, cause somebody's gotta care. We laugh, we cry, we cuss, we pray. We honor the ones who ain't here today. From basic to battle and back to the block. This is our rhythm, our round table talk. Welcome to the front lines you don't always see, when warriors to battle just differently. This is our check-in, our voice, our step. This is the HomeFront Sitrep podcast. Still heavy in dreams out of reach, for the lessons the textbooks could never teach. We're sounding off, no filter, no prep. This is the HomeFront Sitrep podcast. So if you're born with boots or love someone who did, if you swallowed your hurt and kept it all hid, pull up a chair, you're not alone. Welcome to the front lines you don't always see, where courage meets scars and raw honesty. This is our anthem, our truth intercept. This is the HomeFront Sitrep podcast. For the ones still standing and those we've lost yet, for every single story we'll never forget. We speak so others won't forget. This is the HomeFront Sitrep podcast. Real talk, real vets, real life. HomeFront Sitrep podcast, where the mission continues.
Welcome, everybody, to a Monday edition of HomeFront Sitrep. How is everybody doing? Gunny, welcome back, my friend. Welcome back.
Yeah, man.
I am glad you're back, at least for one episode. And then you'll go back out on the road and be busy again for a couple weeks.
Yeah, right. Back a little bit tanner. You know, the Caribbean treated me well this past week.
Yeah,
I
I seen you
time with the guys and the ladies of Warriors Honor Cruise. This is my third cruise with them. First time as a board member adjacent, so honorary board member / advisor. It was a much needed vacation for the wife and I. We reconnected quite a bit, spent a lot of time just with us, just being with each other and hanging out. And yeah, it was much needed after, I guess it was 2 Saturdays now it's been.
The
Mogadishu Mile, Kentucky. Great event. I cannot, again, thank all the sponsors enough, all the supporters enough, including you for coming up and spending the day and, running the entire podcast for our entire, basically, opening ceremonies and half the Moog Mile. And then the competitors, man, we had 61 teams apply. And unfortunately, with the high school, the JROTC, this is their midterm time. And JROTC is a extracurricular. So they have to pull those grades at the midterm. And a couple of those teams had to back out because the students didn't meet, the requirements. So we ended up with 58 4-person teams competing, which is awesome. I mean, last year we had 48, so we're 10 to the better than last year. Gruesome course, and like I said in my open ceremonies, some of them are going to quit. The
Oh
course is
yeah.
going to test you physically and mentally, and it did. I mean, even the Rangers had a tough time, with that run portion. You're doing that incline 4 times.
Yeah, it
I mean,
was
you're doing the
crazy.
decline 3 times, but you're doing that incline 4 times, and it's a butt kicker. So looking forward to next year. We're going to start pushing it earlier this year than we did. So yeah. But how about you? How was your week?
Man, my week was good. We went to Richmond on Saturday, watched the EKU Colonels whoop up on Austin P. Very chippy game. Had one guy. This is something that really irks me. I played football from little league all the way to high school. I've never spat at an opponent, like spit
Oh,
in their
dude,
face or
it's
anything. Well,
happens so much anymore.
oh, it's crazy, and you see it like in the NFL and now collegiate level
Yeah,
where a EKU guy spit on an Austin P guy and got ejected. So he's going to be ejected for the next game and probably the first quarter of the game after that.
yeah.
Friday night we had our rival come into Bullet East where we go up and watch on Friday night lights, and Fern Creek went after our quarterback and out of bounds, late hit. It was a really bad hit. Well, our guys took up for their quarterback. Well, unfortunately, one of our guys who's going to be a senior, or he is a senior, decided to throw some punches.
Ah,
Well, this game coming up this weekend, this Friday, is senior night. Well, guess what? He don't get to play. He don't get to participate because he threw punches
yeah,
and got ejected. And granted, he was taking up. He was ride or die for his quarterback. He was protecting his quarterback. But you still can't throw punches and you can't spit. So it is what it is. But overall, great week. Lorelei, which I don't know if I told you because I hadn't really talked to you on the phone. My youngest has got accepted into Bellarmine University.
oh, nice.
She's also got accepted into EKU. She's also got accepted into University of Louisville. Now she's waiting on the packet to come to see who's going to give her, whether she's going to get a full ride to U of L. She's
Yeah.
waiting on Lindsey Wilson and a few other schools to come. Bellarmine did come with a great package, but it's not where she was expecting, which of course, if you know anything about Bellarmine University being a Catholic private school, it's really expensive to go there, but the
Yeah.
education is top notch. So she's still weighing her options to see where she's going to go. And then Grace, of course, she's loving it at EKU. She did drop her computer science degree that she was doing. She's switching it over to digital forensics.
Oh,
uh,
yeah. Nice.
he wasn't expecting the coding portion of computer science, so she switched it. So she's got her primary, which is criminal justice, and then she's doing her secondary, which is now will be in digital forensics. So super excited because either way, digital forensics, you can go into cell phones, you can go into cybersecurity, all kinds of things with digital forensics you can do. So super excited about that. And then of course, next weekend we got the Marine Corps League, and then we got the Marine Corps League birthday ball coming up as well for the 250th. And then Homefront Sitrep got nominated for Best Veteran Podcast through American Freedom Fund. So if you go to AmericanFreedomFund.com, click on the mistletoes, martinis, and Manhattans, and you can actually nominate, which is their way of voting. So you can go there, click on it, nominate Homefront Sitrep for the Veteran Podcast award. That would be awesome. So I'm super excited about that. Just to be nominated is awesome. They're up in DC every year with the American Freedom Fund. They do the gala every year, and they honor legislator of the year, sports player of the year, veteran small business, veteran nonprofit, and now they added in the Veteran Podcast Award, which is super cool.
Nice.
First, and I think next year they're going to add veteran author to the list. So super excited about it, just to be even nominated.
Yeah.
in 2019, the nonprofit that I was with, we actually went to DC and we won the award 2019 for veteran nonprofit of the year. So it's super cool. But speaking of that, we have a great guest coming on tonight. I'm super excited about this guest. It's been a long time in the making. Matthew Lutz reached out to me and said, "Hey, we want to partner with HomeFront Sitrep and talk about MOA, Military Officers of America Association, and also Total Force Plus, which is a new initiative that Total Force that MOA has." So I didn't expect the guest that we got, but we have a 3-star general, Brian Kelly, U.S. Air Force, retired, 33 years in the military, 33 years that he served our country, and now he's doing what he's doing at MOA as the president and CEO. So, are you ready to bring him up, Gunny?
Absolutely. I'm tired of you running your suck.
Well, you asked questions, bruh.
I did.
Welcome, sir. How are you?
I'm fantastic, guys. It's great to be on with you, and it's great to hear all those good banter you guys got going back and forth. I love it.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, I mean, it's 28 years of banter. So I'm from Maine originally. Willis is from here in Kentucky originally, and we met at boot camp at Parris Island.
Holy cow!
Yeah, and then we served together for our first 3 years through the School of Infantry, and then into 2nd Battalion, 8th Marines, and our careers took us different paths, and the joys of Facebook brought us back together probably 2.5, 3 years ago.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
And then now he suckered me in to be his co-host.
Well, it's evident you guys got a close bond, so good for you guys.
Well, thank you, sir.
Appreciate it.
Well, thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule and coming on and hanging out with us and talking about MOA and Total Force Plus. But do me a favor, introduce yourself to the world of HomeFront Sitrep, if you don't mind.
Yeah, guys, thanks. Yeah, as you said, I'm a Lieutenant General retired Brian Kelly. I spent 33 and a half years or so in the United States Air Force. Did one of those things where you go to school and need money. So I went in and did the ROTC program, thought, I'll do that. I'll go spend 4 years in the Air Force. I'll get out and go do my thing in the world. And lo and behold, man, did I find the right thing for me, right? I love the people. I love the mission. Kept saying to myself, one more good assignment, one more good assignment, one more good assignment. Next thing I looked up and I was 33 and a half years and I was still serving when it was time to retire. Loved every minute of it. Got a chance, to be with great people. Spent a little time in Iraq, a little time in Afghanistan. Came back and served a lot of time in the Pentagon. Probably too many years in the Pentagon. That place can wear you down a little bit. But ended up in my last opportunity to serve as the Air Force Deputy Chief of Staff for Manpower Personnel and Services, which meant I was the guy in charge of all the people and all the people programs for all the 670,000 folks in the Air Force, active duty, reserve guard, the civilians, and what a rewarding job that was to be able to be part of taking care of the people who are making at the time the Air Force great, but really to take care of all the people who make the national defense strong. And that's what I really love is the fact that, it's the people that make the difference.
Heck yeah. Cool. No, that's super cool that, that's, you got to do that at the end of your career. It's Gunny and I, like he said, we served together. I did 4 years and 2 months the first time, got out before 9/11, then got recalled back in after 9/11. And then of course, Gunny stayed in 14 years. And
change, yeah.
I was actually trying to get into the Army, which is another story for another day. But the Army said, "No, we're not taking you," even though I served 6 years in the Marine Corps, which I don't understand. But hindsight's 2020, it is what it is. So here you are. You served in the military. You did 33 years. When you got out of the military, your transition. What was your transition like?
Yeah, I think after that many years in the military, you meet a lot of people. And so I had a lot of mentors and a lot of folks telling me what it was going to be like, telling me what the opportunities were going to be. I think they must have emphasized to me 50 times, the people, the network of people, is the most important thing. But I really wasn't sure. And then I got a really, I definitely had some, opportunities typical of somebody in my position coming out of the Pentagon, all the big defense contractors had some ideas for me, but what they really wanted from me was Rolodex and contacts and things like that. But I had a mentor who was giving me some of the best advice. He said, hey, he called me BK, Brian Kelly BK, and he said, you're going to be at one of the gatherings of the brothers. You're going to be sitting around drinking beers and doing whatever. And when you're doing that, somebody's going to ask you what you're doing. And he said, whatever you choose, you're going to know whether you made the right choice, because when you say your answer, if the words come out of your mouth really, really easily and the words flow off your tongue and you don't have to, turn your head to left or right or do anything, you got passion, then you're going to have found the right thing. And I thought about that for a while. And I said, wow, that's pretty powerful. And then somebody called me up, one of those people in the network, and said, hey, I don't know if you're considering it, but there's this nonprofit group called the Military Officers Association of America, MOA, and they're going to be looking for a new president and CEO. It's a group that's been around for 96 years now. By the way, started by some Marines way back in 1929. It was Marines that started it.
Yes.
Nice.
And they said that, these guys are this group that fights for everybody. It's an association of officers, but it's not about officers. It's about taking care of everybody in the formation, all ranks, all services. And your role is to preserve and protect everyone's earned benefits. The benefits that people, by virtue of their service, their sacrifices, their dedication, earn. And your job and the association's job for all these years, 96 years, has been to make sure that those earned benefits don't get taken away from those people who are serving, the veterans who have served, their families, survivors, and everybody else in that group. From the time somebody raises their hand until they get a VA headstone, your job is to take care of them, make sure they keep those benefits. And I thought about that. I thought about the advice that the guy had given me, and I said, you know what? I'm going to put my name in the hat for that job, because I think if I go to the gathering of the bros and I'm talking about what I'm doing, I'm going to be pretty happy to give back and be able to do that. And I was lucky enough to interview, and in January of 2023, I was lucky enough to get the job and start to become the president and CEO at MOA.
Awesome. So I don't know a whole lot about MOA, like what it does. Now, I know what it is, but I don't know exactly what MOA does and who it serves. Like, with me not being an officer, Gunny not being an officer, does it serve all ranks of the military, or does it just cater to the officers?
Listen.
He got it. He's going to get it, Gunny. All ranks and all services, for sure, is our mission. I think that was really important to me. I don't think I would have been there if it was only about the officers. The membership, by the bylaws of the association, only has officers in the membership, but the mission is everybody. And so, who are we? We're at our heart and soul, we're a lobbying organization. I've got 13 registered lobbyists on my staff who spend their time over on Capitol Hill and over at the Pentagon and over at the Veterans Affairs Department at the VA, making sure, again, that we can advocate for and support and defend the earned benefits that everybody has. And then we do education, making sure people know about those things, or we help with transition assistance. We help educate people about financial, wealth and financial strength as military members. Not all of us all the time are always really good with our finances, right? Especially some of the younger folks. And then we have some charities that we do, right? And the two charities, I heard you guys talking before about your daughter getting ready to go to school. So one of the charities has been around for 76 years now. It's the MOA Scholarship Fund. Again, all ranks. And the MOA Scholarship Fund is for children of military members, knowing that, all of us, as we move around from place to place and drag our children around, sometimes they don't get to establish themselves in their community. And without establishing themselves in the community, sometimes they don't compete for financial aid or scholarships as well. So MOA has been giving out scholarship money to military children for 76 years. This year, we'll do 1,800 kids, $18 million in scholarship money for children of military members, right, to make sure that they can help their education. And we do a mix of grants where you don't have to pay anything back, and interest-free loans where you take 10 years to pay us back but no interest. And when we turn that money over and give it to another set of kids as we keep going forward. Then we got a second charity called the MOA Foundation. And the MOA Foundation, all about veterans. It's about making sure veterans can stay out of crisis, or if they get into crisis, can we help them get out of crisis? We have a couple different programs in there. One of them we call the Community Outreach Program. MOA, being a membership organization, has about 380 chapters around the country, all states, all places. We got a bunch in Kentucky, folks, MOA chapters down there. And some of those chapters can do local good for veterans in their communities: food banks, clothing drives, shelter You name the kind of things that sometimes our veterans need. And so we give them grants to do that. And then we have a crisis relief program for veterans when they get into some trouble to help them in a temporary way. So I think hurricanes, tornadoes, floods, fires in the house, something where somebody's in a temporary situation, don't have enough money to build them a new house, but we give them a couple $1,000s and help them get through a week or two until the insurance kicks in, or whatever they can do, or help them get them back on their feet a little bit. And so we try to do that to make sure we can get the veterans out of crisis as well. So advocacy, lobbying, education, and then philanthropy through our charities. That's what MOA does.
See, that's awesome. So you probably know this guy. I'm going to throw the question up here. Cletus Evans, Chief Warrant Officer Evans, says, ask him about the advocacy and action that took place in April and how important that was.
Yeah, so as Cletus is kind of alluding to, one of the best things we have going is these chapters and councils around the country, because when you do lobbying, when you do advocacy, what your representatives, your senators, your congressmen want to know is, who's in my district, who votes for me. All right. They want those grassroots voices to come forward and talk about that. And so once a year, we do what we call Advocacy in Action, AIA, and we bring in members of MOA from all over the chapters, all across the country, each state. We bring them up to Washington, D.C. for a couple of days. And when they come up to Washington, D.C., we do one day over on Capitol Hill. We used to call that day Storming the Hill. We don't call it that anymore. That name kind of lost a little luster, right?
Yeah.
But we take everybody over there and we try to see all the members of Congress on one day, and we have a couple of key issues, and we unleash the power of our grassroots members, and we go and we talk to members of Congress about our veterans issues. We talk about the currently serving military members on things they need. This last year we talked to them a lot about our veterans and caregivers for our veterans, making sure those caregivers who sometimes help veterans who are homebound can get the support and things that they need. We talked about them for our young enlisted members, our young folks that are housing. You guys probably hear, but barracks and dormitories, those things are sometimes not being kept up the way they need to be for our youngest warriors out there. And so we had a chance to go and talk to members of Congress about those key issues and bring the power of all our grassroots members there in Washington, D.C. on one day. It's really cool. We take a picture out in front of the Capitol and you see, 125, 130 MOA members getting ready to go visit all their members in Congress on one day. It's pretty powerful.
Heck yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, I've done some lobbying here locally in Frankfort for veterans here in Kentucky, and when you get all these different veterans from different counties and you go to the Capitol and you're all have the same mission, talk to your senator, your congressman about what's going on here in the state of Kentucky for veterans and trying to get legislation passed. Sometimes it's easy. Sometimes it's hard. Sometimes they don't want to even, entertain the idea of talking to us. And of course, that's with anything out there that when you're trying to do something on a grassroots level, I can only fathom what it's like in DC to go to DC and try to, talk, especially after what happened back then. We're not going to say that date, but how hard it is to get in there with the security and stuff like that. So there was another question. Craig Murphy's out in Washington. He said, "You're our voice in Washington," save our benefits. We veterans have earned any MOA in Washington State.
Yeah, there's quite a few. I think there's about 6 or 7 MOA chapters in Washington State. One of them's, near the base in Lewis and McCord. There's another one up north by the P3 base. There's one outside Tacoma and Seattle area. There's quite a few folks in Washington who do a real great job. They came to DC this last year for that advocacy and action, and we're certainly fighting for all the veterans benefits. I'll just bring up one that's there, and you guys may have seen this. And maybe it's more of a Washington, D.C. thing. I don't know how far things travel outside, but we had a really bad situation last week. The Washington Post published an article about veterans trying to defraud the government for their disability benefits. Every year so many people apply for disability benefits, and 99.99% of those people deserve them. The Washington Post found cases of fraud and cases of places where that happens, and I think we all know everywhere in the world, there's always somebody who's going to do something bad. And anybody who does something bad for those veteran benefits, I think ought to be prosecuted. But they tried to paint the veterans in general as being con artists and us trying to get things that we don't deserve, as opposed to understanding that, since 9/11 and even before that, man, our veterans have been serving and doing unbelievable things for 25 years straight in the country, right? And so that's the reason there's a lot of people applying for disability benefits, not because there's a bunch of con artists out there. And so we rally our troops, we rallied the folks in Washington, rally other folks, and try to make sure people get the right story and don't try to get these false narratives that somebody like the Washington Post try to put out.
Yeah, unfortunately, that happens.
Yeah, I mean,
quite a
even
bit.
before that, we served in Haiti in '99, right? So there was piles of trash everywhere. They're burning it. So whoever knows whatever chemicals are being exposed in the air and in the dust. And then, U.S. forces brought in engineers and they moved all that stuff out and did a mass burn. So we're exposed to that. And, you go back to Desert Storm, Desert Shield, where the oil fields are burning, or they're burning, crap pots and stuff like that with, diesel or kerosene or whatever have you, but you're still being exposed to that stuff. And, when that toxic exposure thing passed, that's what got me to 100%. I was 90% after, I think I'd been 44 surgeries at the time. I got medically retired because I got blown up a couple times and some stuff. And I left the Marine Corps at 70%. And if it wasn't for my wife, I would have just given up. And I think that's what, the VA wants you to do, is they want you to give up so they don't have to pay out. But my wife kept pushing and pushing and pushing. And, I retired in 11. So I've been retired for I've been retired 14 years, because I retired October 1 of 11. And it wasn't until 2 years ago that I got my 100%. But it was because of that toxic exposure bill that got passed, and only because of that.
Yeah, Gunny, you're talking about the PACT Act.
Correct.
That got passed, and MOA and lots of other good organizations were pushing that for years, and it finally got passed, like you said, a couple of years ago. And that goes all the way back to our Agent Orange exposure in Vietnam, and then Desert Shield and Desert Storm and Beirut and Haiti and all these other places where people were exposed to those toxins, and making sure that veterans who are in those situations, those become presumptive conditions. You don't have to fight as hard to get the medical care and the support you need. So that's why we get really, a little bit annoyed, a little bit angry with folks like the Washington Post trying to paint veterans as con artists and trying to rip things off. I'm sure there's always cases and places, everybody always tries to find loopholes somewhere, but it's such a small group. And I hope every one of those people who do that get prosecuted for it. But the vast majority, over 99% of our veterans, are folks like you guys who served, were exposed, or other injuries, and really deserve everything they're going to get. Because when the nation asked you guys to raise your hand and serve, you guys raise your hand and serve, and now the nation has to pay you back.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and I tell everybody too, you don't get to pick and choose when a war or conflict's going to break out, right? But you signed your name to, 15 pieces of paper as an enlisted guy multiple times, saying that you would support, defend the Constitution of the United States, against all enemies, foreign, domestic, everything. But you still deploy. We deployed to Japan, we deployed to Haiti, we deployed to Korea, and we deployed to Greece, all before 9/11. And, we're living in this, goat herders field in Greece. And, there's feces and all this other stuff that we're being exposed to, rather, the chemicals that they put in their fields for the olives and this, that, and the other on a daily basis, because it's in the dust. And that's pre 9/11, right? And no conflict, no war, no nothing going on. And then, of course, 9/11 happens, and then we start deploying all over the world, whether it be Afghanistan or Syria or, back to Kosovo again, or Iraq. And then, we deployed to Haiti in 2004 for civil unrest. So again, I've been to Haiti twice and got exposed to whatever was in Haiti twice.
Right.
And, that's non-conflict area, right? But I mean, Haiti in 2004 was peacemaking to peacekeeping to humanitarian. We did all three blocks of current warfare that there is. And everybody's like, oh, you got 2 combat tours, but you never been to Afghanistan? there's a lot of people that have 2 combat tours that have never been to Afghanistan or
Right,
Iraq,
right.
right? 'Cause there's other places out there, but just being exposed to that stuff, and there's a lot of people still today that have yet to apply for their benefits that served during the global war on terror because they don't feel as though they deserve it, right? You signed your name, you
Yeah.
deserve the benefits. Just be open and honest about all your stuff. But then there's also a lot of guys, like when Willis and I came in, if you go to BAS or sick call, you're going to be a sick bay commando. So just suck it up, buttercup. And there's a lot of things that are not documented.
Yeah.
And, we have to get those letters from the guys that we served with, to get to the VA to be like, hey, this is actual factual. And, just making sure that it's on I think it's your page 1, page 2, that says where you've been. Right. And that should be enough for the VA, but sometimes it's not. And that's where you guys would step in to help out, right?
That's what we're definitely trying to do. Make sure people understand those presumptive locations, presumptive conditions, so that you don't have to fight through all that stuff. And to your point, and what's great about what you said is there's far more people who we haven't reached who need to apply, and far more people we haven't reached who for whatever reason, whether they're too proud or like you said, they don't think they deserve it, whatever it is. There's way more of those vets that are out there than there are somebody who's trying to defraud the system, right? And so, that's why I get a little again annoyed with folks who are try to put that narrative out there. There's more work to do, and there's more help to provide to those vets who are exposed and things like that you just articulated that didn't go to sick call because they didn't want to be made fun of, or they just haven't gotten the word, or they thought this was for somebody else that had more injuries than them or was more severe than them. But turns out that they need to. This whole veterans thing, and if you go all the way back, and I think it's on the monuments outside the VA there, right? But both George Washington and Abraham Lincoln, 2 pretty good guys, spent some time talking about how important it was for the nation to take care of those who raised their hands, or those who went into battle, because the measure of the nation is how you take care of those folks, and that decides whether the next group of people are going to watch that and say, yep, my nation's going to have my back. And therefore, when it's my turn, to your point, you don't know when the conflicts come, but when it's my turn, I can serve because I feel comfortable that I'm going to be taken care of. My family's going to be taken care of. Or are they going to say, I don't know, that doesn't seem like such a good deal, because they're going to turn their back on me. They're going to assume I'm a con artist.
Yeah. And you go back to Vietnam, and a lot of those guys got treated badly at the VA. So that word got around, and a lot of those guys and gals didn't go. I mean, my grandfather is a Vietnam veteran, and he didn't go to the VA maybe after I did. And I started talking to him about it. And then he finally started making his appointments and stuff. And, he has a rating now, and he's got his hair and nails paid for and some other stuff. And, he's being taken care of now. But I mean, 50 years later, and he's finally getting his stuff taken care of. And there's a lot more, other veterans that served in that, end of the Desert Storm to Iraq era, or Afghanistan, I guess, one that don't feel as though they deserve it, but you served. You spent the time in uniform. You need to file for your benefits.
Absolutely.
I mean, even if they rate you at a 0, it's still a rating, and they still will take care of you for it.
Yeah. See, I will tell you guys. Oh, go ahead, Willis.
I was just going to say, I was one of those veterans after I got out in 2004, was like, I got a job, had insurance, and I was like, I don't need to go to the VA. I don't need to go to the VA. And I did that for up until 22, 23. And my wife finally said, hey, you need to go to the VA. And then Gunny, he's like, hey, you need to go to the VA and start your process and get rated. Right now I'm at 60%. I do have some 0 ratings that I'm working to get, and I got some other stuff that got denied because I don't have the buddy letters. I'm because I was like one of those that when we serve, don't go to sick call, because I never went to sick call, never reported stuff. And so now I'm trying to get buddy letters and letters from my parent, my mom, because my dad's no longer here, and then of course spousal letters as well. Trying to get all that lined out so I can get up to 100%. And I felt like kind of like a hypocrite, because when I started the podcast, I was like, hey, you guys need to go to the VA. You need to utilize your benefits stuff. And I wasn't doing it. And now that I am, I'm so glad that I did, because I'm 46. Well, I just turned 47. I've already had a total knee replacement in my right knee, and I got to get my other knee replaced as soon as this knee is where it needs to be 100%. And it's just one of those things. It's like, why didn't I do this sooner? Because then I probably could have been easier to get some, buddy letters and remember things from, back then that I'm done forgot now. So, yeah, that's where I'm at with it.
Yeah, and there's always more work to do, but I'm happy to say the VA's gotten better, right? The VA is really, I think, for the days where we heard those horrible stories of wait times at hospitals and different things. I would say the VA secretaries across the board have really cared and have been focused on the veterans. Like I said, there's always more work to do, but I think if you look over the last 15, 20 years, the VA of today is not the VA it was back in the early 2000s. And luckily, I think it's gotten a lot better. And their responsiveness and their work with veterans is better. So I just can't encourage people who are in those situations enough to, apply, put your stuff in and get the benefits that you deserve, that you earned those benefits.
For sure. And I'm ignorant, so I didn't do any research on MOA at all. So at your website at moa.org, is there a chapter locator on there that if somebody wants to try to find a chapter around them that they can search?
There is, Gunny. Yeah, it's on there. You can go on there and put your zip code in, and you can find the nearest chapter to you and some contact information. Like I said, by virtue of our bylaws, I hope someday maybe I get to change that a little bit, but by virtue of the bylaws, you have to be either an officer or warrant officer to be a member nationally, but in your local chapters and clubs, anybody can be. And then one more thing that you can find on that website when you go to moa.org, if any of the issues that we're advocating for, that we're lobbying for, you're passionate about, any rank, anybody can go on. There's something on there called the Legislative Action Center, the LAC, and it lets you go on and put your zip code in. It'll tell you who your congressmen are, who your senators are, and it'll generate automatic electronic letters on your behalf for whatever issue you care about. If you care about toxic exposure, there's stuff on there for toxic exposure, and it'll go to your representatives. If you care about housing and those kind of things, it'll put something in for that. If you care about right now making sure our troops get paid during the government shutdown, it'll let you lobby in and make sure the troops get paid during the government shutdown. So all those things are on moa.org.
Awesome. So let's you've already touched on the two charities that you guys have. I just had a question come in, so I'll have to, we'll reiterate those here in a minute, but let's move on to the new initiative that MOA has. What is Total Force Plus, and what does that do?
Yeah, so I don't know if you guys have ever been to or seen one of the, I would say, trade shows or association shows that are out there. The military has a bunch of great ones, and I've been to a bunch of them, and they're awesome, but they're all usually really focused on equipment, right? Like how do we get new rifles? How do we get new tanks, new jets, new ships, new missiles, all those things. And we thought about, how could we do more at MOA, and how do we get the focus on the people and all the things it needs to take care of the people? Like I said, when you first come in, how do we, make sure that you get the right training and the right leadership development and the right health care, and your families get child care and housing, and then you transition and you're a veteran, you need your health care and your transition. So we said, what if we did a show that sort of like covers all the people things from the time you raised your hand, so recruiting and all the ways we recruit you, all the way until get the final transition in a VA headstone, everything in between, and just bring in all the people who have solutions in that space and people who work in those areas with ideas, so that we can collaborate together. And we bring people from the Department of Defense, Department of War, people from the VA together with people who have solutions or have ideas how to advance those things for people, and put them together in like a trade show conference. We'll have folks get up and talk about their subjects, bring in experts on different things to talk about whatever topic, needs to be discussed. And we'll put this together for a couple of days as a conference. And as we started to build that idea, we said, yeah, it ought to be about everybody, the whole force, the currently serving, Guard, Reserve, the families. It ought to be about those folks who have retired or separated, our veterans, the survivors, everybody in between. And so we put together this idea and we called it Total Force. And then we said, today, as you go around the TV dial, right, you got Disney and you got Disney Plus, you got, whatever and plus. We said, this is going to be even bigger. So let's call it Total Force Plus. And let's see if we can build some momentum and get some collaborators in here and start to build something. And we've been working on it for about the last 18 months. and it's coming to fruition this October 28th and 29th. You'll be here in Washington, D.C. at the National Harbors Gaylord Convention Center, the Gaylord Hotel and Convention Center, big area here in Washington, D.C. And for 2 days, we'll have all those people together and be able to collaborate and talk about the things that help advance everything for the people who make strong national defense possible. And the cool thing for us is all of the folks here in DC who are currently serving, anybody else who can get here. If you're currently serving, you're wearing a uniform today, all ranks, all services, and your spouses. If you're working in the Department of War, Department of the VA, it's free. Including we're paying for parking. You don't have to pay, even don't have to pay the parking thing. Come on over and have this 2-day event, and we're hoping we generate a lot of excitement. Hope we generate a lot of opportunities to network and collaborate and find solutions to tough challenges out there that make life better for everybody who's serving. Like I said, from the time you raise your hand till you make that other transition and everything in between. Because the goal for us is, I want when a veteran, gets asked from somebody, hey, what do you think about your time? Should I serve? I hope the veteran says, look, service isn't always easy. It's not meant to be. It's not puppy dog tails and cotton candy every day, right? That's what service is about. There's hard things to do. But in total, when I look back on it, how my service was, the people I met, the things I got to do, how I was taken care of, and even after how I was taken care of as a veteran, absolutely. I'm telling you right now to raise your hand. That's what we want, right? We want good people to pass on to other good people that service is a good thing for the United States, is a good thing for our country, and people ought to volunteer and serve. So 2-day conference to do just that.
Yeah, absolutely. I would go back and do everything exactly the same. Only because where I am today, right? If I don't get blown up in February and March, right, and then get sent home and go through everything I went through, all the pain, the struggles, the learning how to walk, and the cognitive stuff all over again, I'm not where I am today. And I'm in a much better place today than I was when I was in after I got blown up, even after the lat move. But everything that from 4 June 97, when I stepped foot at Parris Island, to October 1 of 11 got me where I am today, right? And made me the person I am today. Had I not enlisted, had I not re-enlisted, had I not, done the lat move, had I not done everything I did, even as much as I hate to say it, recruiting duty, it made me the person I am today. It made me a better listener. It made me a better public speaker. I hated every minute of recruiting. I'm not going to lie about that, but I got to impact so many young men and women over the course of that 3 years that became Marines. And, for me, every single person I sent to boot camp graduated. So I have 100% graduation rate. Now, granted, I only put in like 53 people. It's not a huge number over 3 years. But for me, it was about the quality of the person, not the quantity of the people I was putting in. Because I wanted the people that I was putting in to be like, okay, Sergeant Deeds took his time for me. And for me, it was maybe one day they'll take my spot. Right. So of the 53 people I put in that actually went to boot camp, one is still in. And he's a Chief Warrant Officer 3 Marine gunner out on the West Coast at the School of Infantry. I couldn't be more proud of him from where he started to where he is now. I mean, same thing. If he had not raised his hand, he wouldn't be where he is now. But of course, he put forth all the time, the effort, and everything else, along with his mentors and his leaders and everybody else. So it's not just me. It's everybody that was over me. It's the guys that I led, the guys I mentored, the guys I trained. And I tell everybody when I give a speech, yes, I would do it again. Absolutely. Now, if I had a choice, no disrespect to all the branches, knowing what I know now, I would go Air Force just because it's a better way of life. A lot of the training on the enlisted side counts more towards school than it does on throughout the other branches, right? And there's no disrespect to the Marine Corps and the Army and the Coast Guard and Space Force and everybody else, but yeah, right now, if I had to do it, it would be the Air Force, just because of all those things. And there's a better opportunity to be stationed abroad, right? For the Marine Corps, we're very, very limited, right? 5 bases, 6 bases for Marine infantrymen. Or maybe I'd pick a different job in the infantry, other than the infantry in the Marine Corps, just to have those other opportunities. But yeah, for sure. I mean, having all those people together to be able to speak about the issues from, I state your name, do something right, until, he stood the watch. And even after, right, all these nonprofits that want to help the veteran or the family, or, the kids, whatever. There's a lot of people that don't know how many nonprofits or veteran organizations that are out there that truly want to help. That's not about the money. It's about the person or the people that they're trying to help and serve.
Yeah,
So
we'll have
Go ahead.
23 other nonprofits at that Total Force Plus conference. There'll be 23 other nonprofits, to your point. Sergeant Deeds is that'll be there, right? Because we pick the ones, like you said, who are really trying to help and do things. It's a powerful community. The other reason I tell people to serve is just like you said, is you're going to be amazed if you embrace it. If you take advantage of it, you're going to be impressed by the community. You got guys like you guys doing this podcast, right? Who are caring about and doing things. And there's the network and the community of people that rally around the military and around the veterans can be really, really powerful. And if you embrace it, you're going to be just so impressed with what that family looks like.
Yeah, you got to open your mind. You got to take in the information, and you have to apply what is pertinent to you. And be honest with yourself, right? If you are a cook, you are a cook. You served, right? It doesn't matter. Medical, general, transportation, whatever. You serve somehow, some way. Just be open and honest with yourself and everybody else, and the things will come to you.
So we got a question here off of TikTok. What does Total Force Plus have for those who are enlisted as they transition out?
Yeah, we're going to do a couple of transition opportunities and events. There's a lunch and learn transition event where we're going to talk about how to make your transitions a little bit. They're going to talk about how AI, like one of the popular things out there now, how AI can help you with your job search, how AI can help you with your resumes, do all those things. There's going to be lots of networking opportunities with companies and folks out there who are looking for veterans, all ranks and folks that they're looking for. So lots of transition resources. And I would just say everything at Total Force Plus is all ranks. There's nothing that's, specific for officers, specific for enlisted. It's about helping the entire community. There's very few things. In fact, I'll say in my job, there's very few things I ever find that are, officer or enlisted centric. It's really when we're talking about earned benefits and how we take care of folks, it's really for everybody. And so Total Force Plus will be the same way. So, if you're doing your transition, come on over there, because there'll be lots of help to help you make that journey and make that transition.
Awesome. So core focus of Total Force Plus, you got 4 pillars: talent management and innovation, leadership development and performance, quality of life, veteran and retiree experience. That's the 4 pillars of
That's
Total
right.
Force Plus. And then it says who should attend: active duty, National Guard, Reserve veterans, DOD and VA civilian employees, spouses, family, survivors, caregivers, industry partners, nonprofits, academia, government officials, policymakers. So it looks like you're trying to bring everybody into a melting pot. That way you guys are helping as many veterans as possible. And
Yeah, we find in those spaces that if you can create the space for people to collaborate, right? You don't always have all the solutions, right? I don't have all the answers. Moa doesn't have all the answers. Everybody else. But when you start to bring people together, one person puts their puzzle piece down, another person puts their puzzle piece down, another person puts a puzzle piece down. You start to create the opportunities to solve some of these issues or network. People can help each other with transition. People can help each other with filing benefits. People can help each other with childcare issues or housing issues, whatever they happen to be. The power of bringing the community together and all these different people, whether they be industry people who have something to sell but they're doing it at their place, other nonprofits, other veterans who haven't experienced to share. All those things are going to be really powerful. We got a couple of really cool veterans who are going to come and tell their stories. I don't know if you guys recognize this name, but Marine Corps retired Lieutenant Colonel Rob Riggle. He's an actor and comedian. He's going to come and share his story and do a little roasting and tell some jokes. We've got a guy named Nate Boyer, Army Special Forces Ranger, who was then in the NFL, right? Played National Football League and has his own nonprofit now. We got a Navy sailor, a guy named B. Taylor, who now works for Sony Music and is a record and music producer, who started as a Navy sailor and got his start. So all those kind of people coming together to make those kinds of connections and talk about solutions together. There's lots of power in that collaboration.
Heck yeah.
All right, so let's get into cost and registration details, because I know people are going to be asking. This is something they're going to ask. For Total Force Plus, which is on the 28th and 29th, 2025 at the Gaylord National Resort and Convention Center, National Harbor, Maryland. What's the cost? And stuff like that.
Yeah, so you can go to Total Force Plus. So Total, TOTAL, Force, FORCE plus PLUS.org, all one word, totalforceplus.org. And you'll see all the information on there. But what I can tell you is this: if I will go on there tomorrow, anybody who comes off your guys' podcast tomorrow and wants to go, it's going to be free. They're going to get in for free, and all they got to do is go on there and sign up. They got to make their own way up to DC and get their way on over to the National Harbor. I don't have the resources to pay for everybody's travel and stuff, but if you can get up there, I'm going to make your ticket free and you can get in for free.
That's totalforceplus.org.
Yep, you got it.
Totalforceplus.org. And how would you know that they come from if they saw this episode or listened to the episode? How would you know?
I'm going to call the folks who do our registration when we get off the podcast and tell them that anybody calls on tomorrow is going to be free.
Awesome. So there you go, guys. Wait till tomorrow, and then you can go and get you a ticket for Total Force Plus in DC.
And eat at McCormick and Schmidt because they have the best lobster bisque ever.
There you go. You know that place, Gunny.
I do. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We did the athletic directors conference up there a couple years ago. I work with a professional skydive team, so we go to a couple of different conferences every year, and that's one of them. And they were at National Harbor, and we did enjoy some time at McCormick and Schmidt.
Yeah. They got great lobster bisque for sure.
Yes, they do. Some of the best I've ever had, if not the best. And that says a lot because I'm from Maine originally. So,
well, sir, is there anything else that we didn't touch on that you want to touch on with MOA or Total Force Plus?
Yeah. First, I want to say thanks to you guys and congrats. I was listening to you guys in the beginning talk about being nominated for Best Podcast, Best Veterans Podcast. And I just, I've been on a few of these different ones around. I'll just say I'm going to put out the word. People ought to get on that. I guess it was martinis and what was the other?
So it's AmericanFreedomFund.com. And then once you're there, you got to go to the M3, which is mistletoes, Manhattans and martinis or something like that, and then they can nominate HomeFront Sitrep on that.
All right, well, I'm going to get one mistletoe, Manhattans and martinis and make sure we do that because you guys are doing a great job. Yeah, what I love about MOA and what we do is the opportunity, as I said, to protect everybody's earned benefits. It's so important, and I don't think everybody always understands, but it's so important in this country that we have an all-volunteer force, and that all-volunteer force is really predicated on how well we take care of the people who serve and whether or not they tell the next group of people to serve behind them. And that's all about making sure we keep our promises as a nation and we keep those earned benefits going. So, every day when we're doing our job, I like to say to my wife, and my wife served too, by the way, which is great. She tells me when I'm not doing good. She lets me know. But it's good that you come home and you feel good about what you're doing because I see folks like you guys and other people out there who have answered the nation's call. And when they answer the nation's call, I want to make sure the nation responds and takes care of them and keeps their own benefits.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. And to touch something you said earlier, I always say, if you follow your passion, you'll find your purpose and then you'll never be unhappy.
Amen.
Because if you're following your passion, that's something that's about you. If you're happy, if you're unhappy, maybe your passion's in the wrong direction.
Right.
So
Yeah, that
I did
advice
want
is
to
pretty solid.
I did want to circle back real quick. I know we hit on the charities that MOA has, but somebody did ask the question about the charities within MOA. So do you want to briefly describe the charities again real quick, if you don't mind?
Yeah, we have two charities. So I'll start with the veteran one. It's the MOA Foundation, and its purpose is to make sure we can help veterans stay out of crisis. So we do education and informational stuff to stay out of crisis. And then if veterans get into crisis, we help veterans get out of crisis with our crisis relief fund and our community outreach grants that help veterans in a variety of different ways. That crisis relief fund, for instance, I think did over $500,000 in grants out last year to folks who were in floods and hurricanes and tornadoes and things like that. And then the community outreach grants, we did another $150,000 out to our local MOA chapters, like in Louisville or other places that can do good for their veterans in their communities. And then the second charity, the one that's been around for a long time, 76 years, the MOA Scholarship Fund. Children of military members, all ranks can apply. In those children, we want to help make sure those children, knowing that those children move around from place to place and were drafted into the military, right? Those children didn't get the chance to volunteer. We want to give them, make sure they had a chance to further their education. And so I know you were talking about your daughter before getting ready to go. And so that's our goal, is to help those children make sure that they can get some money to further their education. And as I said, we do it through a combination of grants, money that we give out, and some interest-free loans. And this last year, I think we did about $7 or $8 million in grants and another $11 million for $18 million total in educational money out for children of military families in 2024 and 2025.
Heck yeah. So yeah, I'm definitely going to have my youngest, who's getting ready to go into college next year, apply. Now, I have a daughter who's a freshman. She's in her first semester at EKU. Is she able to apply for the MOA scholarship as well?
Yeah, as long as the children are directly tied to the military member, right? So we don't do grandchildren. We want to make sure that family was the family that was impacted by the military service, right? I know sometimes our older members say, "Hey, my grandchild's going." I say, "Yeah, but your son or daughter weren't in the military, and so they didn't get the same kind of life as you guys had." And so, but yeah, it doesn't matter what year you're in school, all the way until you graduate. We just do one. You don't get to do 2 degrees, but one time through school, any of those years you can apply.
Awesome. Well, Gunny, you got any more questions or anything?
No, just one statement, sir. If you're available December 27th, we're jumping into the Military Bowl in Annapolis. We'd love to have you as a guest. Wow,
that sounds awesome. Over not too far from me, and you guys are going to jump into the ball over there, huh?
We do Military Bowl every single year. Yeah.
I'll definitely try to hook that up. If you guys send an invite my way, I'll try to hook that up for the 27th of December. That sounds great, Gunny. And again, you guys, thanks so much for what you guys do. Thanks for the words and the education and the representation you do for our veterans. That's really powerful. And I wish you guys the best in that podcast awards. You certainly get my vote.
Well,
I appreciate it. Yeah, thank you for taking the time. We all know that time away from the family is precious, or time with the family is precious. So yeah, thank you for taking an hour out of your day to spend with us and educate the HomeFront Sitrep family here.
Yeah, no, it's my honor and pleasure. Thanks.
All right, so here, Cletus just says the good question to ask him to wrap it up would be how important it is for us veterans to voice our opinions to the legislators at every level. Yeah,
Cletus has all the good talking points. He's doing MOA proud here. Like I said before, they want to hear from grassroots folks, and the way to hear from grassroots folks is to go on that MOA.org site and get signed up on the Legislative Action Center. It doesn't matter if you're a MOA member, doesn't even matter if you're, whoever you are, it just means you're passionate about the subject. And you'll see a list of issues. You say what issue you're passionate about, you want to talk about, and then you put in your zip code, and it's going to let you have letters already drafted for you. It'll sign them for you, and it'll electronically send them off to your representative and your senators at the U.S. level, your U.S. senators and your U.S. representatives. And it'll tell them which issues and your good talking points behind why you're supportive of that issue. And if you want, you can tailor it. You can change it and put your own words in. But we'll have a pre-canned letter for you already ready to go. All you got to do is put your zip code in, and it's ready to hit send.
Heck yeah. So I got to get with Cletus and probably join the Louisville chapter here of MOA. So Cletus, we'll talk next Monday at the Marine Corps League meeting. So, sir, thank you again for coming on and spending this hour with Gunny and I. It's been our honor to have you on to talk about MOA and Total Force Plus. And I can't wait to see where you guys go in the future with everything that you guys are doing with MOA.
Well, thanks again, guys. I really appreciate it.
No, you're very welcome. Have a good night. How cool was that, Gunny?
Dude, I mean, I served for 14 plus, been out for 14 plus, now 14 plus, 12 days ago. And I had no idea, about that, even as an E7, right? So you don't know what you don't know, and having, guests like Lieutenant General Kelly informing everybody, us included, of some of the other things that are out there. Just because it says Officers of America Association doesn't mean it's strictly for the officers, right? And he proved that point today, that it's for everybody that served, to include the family members.
Yep.
So putting that education out there for everybody, and man, so many things within MOA that they have going on that it's worth checking out. If you're listening now, you're a service member or the direct descendant of the service member, go check it out and see, what they have to offer. And, the one thing we didn't ask is there a place to donate on the website? Again,
let's bring him back up and ask.
I love that question. I should have thought it myself, guys. Sorry. Yeah, you can go on when you go on that moa.org site. If you're interested in those charities, you'll see plenty of places on there. It'll bring them up on, you just hit the charities button on there, and the opportunity to donate to either the scholarship fund or the MOA Foundation for the veterans is both on there. So I should have thought of that before, but glad you guys brought me back. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks for staying on so we could bring you back and ask you the question.
I had to make sure I hear what you guys were talking about some more.
Right, yes, right. Make sure we're not bad mouthing him.
Yeah, so no, I love it. And then Cletus just said we have enlisted members as part of our Louisville chapter because we want to cater to all veterans. So definitely got to get with Cletus on that, and then we need to see if there's anything close to you up there. I know you're super busy, and I probably don't want to add something else to you.
Involved in some more stuff. I got the team, I got the family, I got Mogadishu Mile, I got Warriors Honor Cruise. What else you want me to do, Willis?
You got HomeFront Sitrep. I mean,
right? I got to do this every Sunday and Monday when I'm here. I mean, we're in the heart of the season. So, like I said earlier in the year and last year, you're going to see a little bit of me until our season slows down a little bit. I mean, I'm out the door on Thursday, and I'm not back until next Monday. And you've got the Marine Corps League meeting, so no show that day. So it'll be 2 weeks before you see me again.
Yeah. So you're going to be super busy. We got Dr. Dice coming up on the 19th. And then on the 20th, we got the Marine Corps League meeting. And then on the 26th, I'm reaching out to Corporal Matthew Bradford. You know who this guy is. This guy, he was at the Moog Mile. I met him there, talked with him. Double amputee, blind. Ran the Moog Mile course, was doing box jumps, tire flips, burpees, and push-ups.
While carrying a 30-pound pack too. I mean, he did it all. It's not just him. I mean, yeah, he had his guides that helped guide him around the course, and some other people motivating him along the way. But this, the second or third year that Matt's done the course with us, and I've fished quite a bit with Matt, spent a lot of time with Matt, and he was a corporal, and he motivates the hell out of the gunny. So I mean, we all have to have those that push us a little bit.
I mean, just me speaking to him up there at the Moog Mile for 20 minutes, I was like, holy cow! I wish normal people would have his outlook on life, because here he is, he's blind, double amputee. He could have gave up on life, but no, he's a hard charging Marine, and he just carried forward, and he's continuing his mission. And man, it's a phenomenal story of his resilience and stuff. And we had Colonel Joseph Tyrone on last night, and he was talking about Jason's box.
I just landed in Dallas when the show started. So I got on and listened to it as long as I could. And then my phone just about died. So I had to break out the battery pack and then jumped on the other flight to get home. So we didn't get home until after midnight last night.
Oh man.
But
So yeah, we were talking about, Jason's Box and what they do for service members who have, lost a limb or become blind.
yeah, other
and,
abilities.
and other abilities. Yeah, not disabilities, but other abilities. And they are nominated for the 2025 Defender Service Award. I do have the link. If you want that link, I can give it to you. The good thing about that is if they win, they get $30,000 plus a Land Rover, which will help them greatly in their mission to serve our brothers and sisters who have other abilities at the present moment in time because of service. So, but it is about that time. Gunny, you ready?
Yeah, man.
All right, let's do it. You first.
Yeah, you're not alone. You still have worth. You still have value. Don't let the dark days win. You don't have to be a product of the environment you grew up in.
Yeah, definitely. This right here. In the silence of your struggles, remember, though unseen, you are deeply held in the hearts of others. You are not alone. And then I added this one here, Gunny. The uniform may come off, but the bond remains. And together we heal, we rise, and we carry each other forward. That's so powerful right there.
Yeah, I mean, there's nobody that understands veterans other than the veteran themselves, right? We can say that the loved ones understand or our families understand, but unless they served and been through what we've been through, no one truly really understands.
Yeah.
Dude, this past week I spent 7 days with 27 other Purple Heart recipients, and tears were shed, and the resin between the branches was there. But man, the brotherhood is still strong. You just have to find your group. Just because you're out doesn't mean that you're not loved or not wanted, and your friends are still there. I mean, look at Willis and I. We've been 28 years and we're still going at it.
Yeah, going strong, and it'll be to the day I'm face up or face down, one or the other.
It'd be face up. I mean, you're gonna be buried upside down so everybody can catch you biting.
Yeah, glass top. Yeah. Hashtag be someone stranger. Man, I can't stress this enough. Listen, we as humans, we're more apt to talk to a complete stranger than the ones we love the most. So if you're out and about and you see somebody and it looks like they're having a bad day, go up to them, say, "Hey, how you doing?" If they give you the red flags, "I'm okay, I'm hanging in there, I'm living a dream," ask the next hard question. How are you really doing? But be ready for that conversation. It could be a 5-minute conversation, could be an 8-hour conversation. You have to be ready for that conversation. So be someone stranger. Gunny?
Yeah, it takes a village. Use the people around you. It's you can only push the demons down so much, right? And eventually they will implode or explode. So, use the people around you, get the demons out, talk about it. If you just need somebody to talk to and you don't know who, pick up your cell phone, pull up your contacts, scroll through blindly and hit a number and see if they pick up. No one picks up, do it again until somebody picks up and just say, "Hey, I'm just having a bad day. Need to get something off my chest," or ask them how they're doing. You might be that one person that they needed to hear from that day.
I love it. I love it. Want to give a big shout out to our community partners, Heroes Media Group. Adam Bird is phenomenal. Go check out heroesmediagroup.com. You'll see all the veteran podcasts that he has on his network. Go check it out. Sameflagsameoath.com. Go check out sameflagsameoath.com. Small veteran owned t-shirt company in Katy, Texas. Matt and Becky Johnson, they are phenomenal. They have we have a co-branded shirt with them. It says "Marine It Down" on the front. It's a word play off of "Keep It Simple, Stupid," which is what we utilize in the Marine Corps quite a bit, is the dumb it down method. So keep it simple, stupid. And then also Military United podcast streams, Elite Engraving, Reese Across America Radio. Listen, Jeff Pierce is amazing with Reese Across America Radio. If you want to be involved, if you have a nonprofit and you want to be involved with Reese Across America, which is where wreaths are laid on veteran tombstones at national cemeteries, your nonprofit could benefit from each sale of the wreath. So I think they're $17 for a wreath. The nonprofit gets $5 of that. So if you want to reach out to Reese Across America Radio, reach out to HomeFront Sitrep. I'll get you in contact with Jeff Pierce. They'll definitely take care of you there. Also, Elite Engraving, who did this amazing hat here. Gunny's not wearing his tonight, but he probably wear it in the future. So yeah, go check out Elite Engraving on Facebook and also their website as well. What's up, Travis, with Oscar Mike Radio? How are you, sir? Let's see. Who else we got, Gunny?
Valor Coins and Pins.
Yep, Valor Coins and Pin, who did our amazing coin that Gunny and I designed.
You got it upside down, man.
Oh, do it. There we
Can't
go.
take you anywhere.
Well, I can't see my screen.
What'd you do when I was gone? Was the whole show screwed up?
Yeah. So go.
A little
go check
surprise
out,
on the back if you shut the lights off.
Yeah, a little surprise. So go check out Valor Coins and Pins. Their mission is phenomenal. If you don't know, Brent and Brian Casey, who run Valor Coins and Pins, are the grandsons of Herschel Woody Williams, Medal of Honor recipient. Rest in peace, Herschel.
I tell you,
Marine's a Marine.
Him and I shared a birthday, and that's the one text that I miss every year on my birthday was from Woody. Every year he would send a text, "Happy birthday, Marine," and I'm like, "Oh, happy birthday, Marine!" Right? But yeah, that's the one thing I miss on my birthday every year is that text from Woody.
Yeah, he's the Marine's Marine. His mission, so Valor Coins and Pins, their mission is to support the Herschel Woody Williams Foundation, which is they put Gold Star family monuments up across the country. They want to have a Gold Star monument in every city across the country. That's their ultimate mission, to honor and recognize Gold Star families. So go check out Valor Coins and Pins. And support their mission to help support Herschel Woody Williams Foundation.
And a portion of every order goes towards the Woody Williams Foundation. Brent and Brian donate a portion of the proceeds back to the foundation as well. Yes, sir.
And then last but not least, go check out HomeFrontSitrep.com. You can see all of the past nonprofits, veteran authors, business owners, comedians, singers that we've had on the show. There's a lot of great information on there as well. So go check out HomeFrontSitrep.com. You can order our hat from there. You can also order our shirt, which I have the shirt over there. I was going to put it on Uncle Sam tonight, but I forgot. So yeah, go check out HomeFrontSitrep.com. But it is that time of night, Gunny. Like we always say on HomeFront Sitrep, stay safe out there. We've got your six. Thanks for listening. Hope you enjoyed this show.
Suggestions and comments are always welcome.
Cannot wait to have another great show with y'all.
Don't forget you can find HomeFront Sitrep on Apple, Amazon, Spotify, or wherever you get your favorite podcasts.
Stay safe out there. I got your six.